In this video I'm going to take a quick look at the ARB compressor, and there's a couple of videos on the internet showing about fitting it and showing this in more detail, but there was nothing actually I found that sort of brings it all together with what do you need, and by that you'll see what I mean. So when you order the compressor, so this is the CKMA12 from ARB. So when you order the compressor, it actually comes exactly as it's shown here on the box, nothing extra with it. So although I've already taken it out, you do get the wiring harness, which I've started to have a go at, and that's one of the things I wanted to go through today. So you get the wiring harness, you get some fixing pieces, but they're not vehicle specific. So you might find that you want to order a special fixing kit, and K-On do some good kits, I have to say, for vehicle fixing, and I'll get one of those for my vehicle. It comes with a rocker switch here. It also comes with a relay for the wiring harness, and then your bolts and your crimps for connecting the compressor. It obviously also comes with the compressor itself, the air filter, which I've fitted to the end of it at the moment, and then ignore this at the top here because this does not come with the compressor, and that's the important point for me really in this video, is to say what comes with it and what doesn't. So this is the connector for your air hose, the fitting, and then the pressure sensitive switch is in here. That does not come with the compressor. Those pieces come with this kit, and this is what's called the ARB pump up kit. There are some different versions of this. This is the version 2, I think now, more the later version, but as I said, it's pretty important to know that. So in the pump up kit you get the hose. You get a hose, and this actually is really light, very lightweight hose, very nice. And then you've actually got some fittings which are fitted on here already, so that one screws in there. So they're actually sort of you can remove these and put on your own fittings, but I'm told that they have to be ARB specific because they use their own connectors. So that is you can use the different connectors that come with it. So the joy about this, once you've got this kit, is you get a selection of connectors. Now I've put some of them on the pump already, but suffice to say you get a couple more connectors, some things for ball blowing up, and this is quite nice. So this is the tire chuck. So unlike the one with the side clip that was in a previous kit, they've moved over to this one where the collar slides down. So this is obviously a much better fitting, and you can see in there's the slide pin in there that would go into fixing that onto your tire, and obviously that will fit into the end of that one. So that's in there, and that now can go straight onto your tire or connector there for your vehicle. So that's quite nice and quite simple to use, and that obviously goes into the pump itself. So when we talk about into the pump itself, I'll come back to the fact that this piece comes with this kit. Okay, so this is the connector for that, and that would go into there like that. So that would come onto the hose kit. So very nice. As I said, the pressure switch and the T-piece that you need to join it all together all comes in that kit. So I guess it's because you decide where you want to use the pump in your vehicle. I'm going to mount it on the bonnet, so I need these connectors, and I'm going to connect straight into here. But I guess if you're doing it for other reasons, maybe in the back you might not need those, but you still got to obviously connect into the pump itself. I'm not going to show the installation today as such. I might come back to that later. There's a lot of videos around on that. But one thing I did want to look at today was the wiring harness. So one of the things that I didn't know and sort of had to hunt around a bit really was what's what and what you got with it. So if you order both kits, which I've done, the wiring harness all comes with the pump. So you've got all your wiring that you need, and everything is there that you need, as I said. But it does look a little bit intimidating. It's not too bad. You do have a wiring diagram in the book, and it does mention the names of the colors. But I'll just go through it with you quickly because there's a couple of things that it doesn't tell you. Okay, so I've already started to cut it apart because, as I said, I'm mounting this under the bonnet. I don't need the extended wiring. So let's just have a look what we've got here. So let's just open it up. So we can start from the heavy lead. This connects to your battery. Just be careful which battery you use. And it's not for me really to tell you what your vehicle's set up. I'll be connecting this to my main battery because the compressor will always be running when the engine is running. I want the extra juice to make it run as fast as possible. If I were to connect it to my auxiliary battery, it's going to go through my BC-DC charger. It's going to draw through there, and that only has a limit of 25 amps, and I believe this draws more than that at full power. So you probably need to be aware of that. Comes with its own fuse, so that's great. Sorry about the wind, it's getting very windy today. And then so that's nice and long. Anyway, so that comes back to the connector to the pump there. So that will obviously connect onto there, and that's pretty easy to tell because you've got the thickest wires going straight to the pump. And then you've got a series of wires next to that. So you've got these two here, and these two are for the pressure switch. So and they will go, in my case, they will go up there to the pressure switch. So that'll go there. And then these two, if I had lockers connected here, and obviously I've rotated this now because I'm not going to be using that, so I'm not going to be using those two. And we'll talk a little bit about what we're not going to use, because do you start to strip it off rather than hold on to it. Further down we've got the relay. So the relay will go in here, and I'll find somewhere to mount that within that distance of the pump. And then here I've already cut it. So what you're going to see is this piece. Let me just find the other end for you. Here's the other end. So I've already cut this off. And the reason being is that I cut from the extension. So what happens is as you can see on the diagram, you've got a plug point here. So I've cut that right out now. Okay, so one end had the plug on a packet with the connectors. I didn't put that on, obviously, and that connects to this end. And you use, I've got the plug here somewhere, yeah, here it is, here's the plug that I've cut off. So it came with that, so I've taken that off. And the reason I've taken that off is obviously you'll see the length of it. I don't need to run this. So this is designed to run through to your dash, where you put the switches, because that's effectively what's happening at the end, where you've got your 3 switches on the end of it. So when I say 3 switches, and this is where I got confused, so this would normally run through to your dash, as I said, and then you'd mount your different switches, and you've got 3 switches because you've got your 2 lockers, front and rear, and then you've got your mains isolator. So on the cabling, it's got isolating switch there, it's got switch 2 and switch 1. So switch 1 and 2 are for the lockers, as I said, so we're not going to need those. Here is the one for the isolator switch. We're going to need that, and that is going to go onto my rocker switch. But because my rocker switch is going to go right next to the pump, I don't need all this length of wiring. So what I've done, as I said, is cut it, taken out that much already. That will go. This is where I've cut it, or I'm about to join it anyway now. So I'm going to join this. That's where I'm going to join those two back together, having taken out all the excess. And I'm also, actually before I join it, going to look at possibly undoing the whole of this loom and taking out these for the switches as well, because again I don't need them, so it's just going to be wiring I tuck inside. And I've cut these in such a way that if I ever want to reuse them, I can actually just join back to the connector, join back to the other side, and I could actually reuse them if needs be. And I might do the same with these. So rather than just cut the terminals off, actually if I took the wiring out, if I ever needed it, I might be able to re-put it in. But I think it's almost very unlikely I'd need it again. I'm only going to need that one. And then here, so this is the ignition live, as they call it. So this is the feed for the coil, or for the switch, and I guess they say, and it is identified on the diagram here, it's in these two here, and it says red, yellow, the top one there, to ignition. You can wire that to a battery positive, so it's always available, because you've got the on-off switch and you've got a pressure switch, so there's not much chance of the compressor running for very long if you're not using it off the battery and draining your battery. But they do that just to be sure that you couldn't run the pump unless your ignition is on. So I'll see if I can pick up an ignition nearby. I'll use it. If not, I might put it onto the battery. As I said, not really the end of the world. And the other one I've removed actually already is this blue one. So that was joined to the wiring harness in here. In there, well, sorry, other way around actually, that way. That was in there. I've taken that one off as well now, because that is for illumination, switch illumination. Yes, it picks up the illumination for the switch. There's a little light in here. It's going to be under my bonnet. To be honest with you, I'm not going to need a light on it. Even if it is dark, I'm going to need more than that to see what I'm doing. So that's a bit irrelevant. So one less piece of wire. So it's all about just cutting out really what I don't need. Anyway, so that's a quick rundown of the wiring and what you get and what you don't get. Now I've got both boxes, both kits. I reckon I've got everything I need. So what I'm going to do now is I should just join these colour for colour, and I'll look at removing possibly these two switches, or taking them up nice and tight. We'll see what I feel like doing. And that's the ARB compressor. Certainly hope you found this video a little bit useful, and then you see what you get and how it goes together. Thank you for watching.